Maybe I'll stand here. I'm a little bit shorter, so at least I'll stand on top and look down a few people. In any case, thank you, Mr. Abel, for the invitation. My name is Eric, and I hope you are the second year students here with computer science. So do we have any other third year or fourth year students still here? Only second year? Some 40 years and 20 years. Okay, good. Brief introduction has been made already. I have only less than an hour to do a presentation, but I have a lot of things to talk about. But due to the limited time frame, I'm not going to speak about many detailed things that you do here at computer science school, probably with C++, introduction to database, and all of those ones. I'll just cover on the real life applications of those C++ programming as well as the introduction to database. So you at least have a fair bit of understanding of what they do at the real life. Okay, I think this course is meant for introduction to programming. So unfortunately for those other students who have not studied this course, probably it's going to be something foreign, I don't know, but as long as you are studying computer science, and programming is one of the core courses. It's just one. There are others like system analysis, which a lot of programmers, they don't delve too much in. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the importance of programming today. Do we apply C++ in the real world or not? As you see. A bit of introduction about myself, probably Mr. Apple has mentioned. I finished my study from 2006 to 2009. Graduated in April 2020. By then I applied for only three. One was digital of 20 and BSP. So BSP came also. I joined as a graduate training then. 10 of us, I think. The others were from different strengths. But it was a good journey. I learned a lot from Bank of South Pacific. If you have to actually do some real stuff, then probably you shouldn't go to the government department. That's my encouragement, but it's all up. So that at least like banks or financial institutions and NASPA and all of those ones, they do real stuff. Many of those processes are in place, so at least you are guided through. I have completed my bachelor here in mathematics, and of course I did up to calculus 4, 5 of us only. So mostly I did maths courses, and of course 2 or 3 courses for physics, computer architecture, and I think signal processing and so on. It was related to computer science. So I'm pretty sure some of you are studying physics as well. Then I finished. Most people, they think that when you come to university, you have to be a doctor. So every science college student, they aspire to go to Belgium. This school is not run by doctors. It's run by, so that's a very good moment. So you are cream of the world. So you can work anyway, and even you can work private. So I don't regret choosing to study computer science. I did not apply for medfac at all. I didn't go there. Otherwise, I should have gone. But that's a personal choice. Most often, people look down on computer science and other courses because they think that it's only lawyers and doctors. That's only Papua. But outside world, it works different. So computer science is one of the core areas that you apply actually literally everything. So, which is really a good thing. If you have taken up this course and think that, I was planning to go to medfac, but they didn't get me, so let me just go and study computer science. Don't have that kind of thing. That's from my experience, I'm telling you. I never wanted to go there anyway. I have a master's in information technology and management, dual master from ex-Massey University in France. And of course, master's in economics and business management from Turku in Finland. Master's in information systems from Tilburg University in the Netherlands, so I basically 5 masters. Actually, I did my studies in Vienna and Western Britain. So if you are coming outside of Port Moresby, I never knew how to use a computer, basic computer. So when I studied computer science, it's quite difficult. Basic Excel and those sort of things, we never had any opportunity. But it's how you perceive in your mind that you want to take you can do. Yeah, I have 8+ years of software engineering. Software engineering is different from programming. Software engineer, you do system analysis, the business requirement, all of those different things as well. Programming is just one part. You can actually write the technical requirement document, pass it on to the programmers to work on it. So that's totally different. System analysis is also a different field altogether. You try to gather the requirements and write a document, business requirement document, technical requirements document, then you pass it on to the developers and system testers to actually test it based on what you have written, because that document contains the requirements of the client. So I did a bit of programming at, not did a bit, but I was working as a programmer at Bank South Pacific, and then as a database administrator, Microsoft environment, and a few other areas as well. So currently I have 12+ years of experience in IT. I'm transitioning into management side of things, IT governance and policy erosion. Those are some of the areas that I'd like to, and of course project management. Currently I'm managing a 25 million project, and I wrote a proposal and we got the money, so it's quite difficult to manage those kind of things because like NID has eaten a lot of money. We haven't registered up to 2 million, and it's a fake project, I'm telling you. And it needs people who can understand, who can do a lot of research in that area as to how to actually implement systems of big scope, like nationwide. But it has also become an environment where those hackers, they are trying to get those projects, but they don't know how to do it. That's a difficult path. So sometimes I go and talk to the government of the day, but when they look at you, they think that you're stupid on a street car because you don't look like, people are bad and those sort of things. That's what I experienced, so I'm telling you as a young student. And sometimes I just go and sit and chat with those cleaners. And, they don't look, I feel the same as, or I hear the same as everybody else. So it's quite difficult to work in this country. For me, I was working as a research assistant in Netherlands, in Finland, Turku University before I came here. Because a lot of work to be done here. Up there, there's nothing. But then when you come here, everybody is racing against each other, so it's quite difficult to work together. So when you put yourself in there, people think you are there to take their positions. So that's the kind of environment we need. So what do you as a young people do? We'll have to change the status quo. We'll have to change the mindset that everybody has. You will have to work together to tackle the system or the solution, or provide a solution to the problem, and that's how we solve the problem for our country. So that's a little bit of background about myself. Application programming, the outlook in today's world, and of course, how the future looks, and some experiences. The role of programming in modern society. What do you think about programming? When you study programming, what are some of the things that come to mind? Or the role as a programmer, what do you do? Okay, maybe I'll probably run through. Ubiquity of technology in daily life, meaning that there are a lot of things that you can actually do with technology, especially with programming. If you're a programmer, you can basically program the water tank. So you stay in the house and you just, it can run on itself, or sometimes you can stop. Today, we have the IP address of up to 8, but sometimes they are saying that we'll have to change to 16 because we'll have to go by Internet of Things, which is already in place. It happened in 2016, I think. So you have all those Internet of Things and other things that are connected, and wearables that we do. So it has changed a lot. The C++ that we left, it's the foundation part. You may not apply it, but it gives you the edge to think. It's smart. Examples of programming in various industries. Example, healthcare, finance, entertainment, almost everything. programming is. Without programming, nothing exists, so to speak. Like the plane that runs away, autopilot. It's written by programmers. Pilot may just sit and fly. So basically, you try to understand the entire life of a human being on Earth. Doctors, they only concentrate on giving medicine and understanding the human, but you also work as a doctor as well, because those scanning machines are embedded system that was developed by programmers. So basically, you work in every industry. So don't downgrade yourself by thinking that, oh, I'm just studying computer science and I don't have work and that sort of mindset. Today, you are very lucky because you have internet available in a figure. You can actually find all of those information that I'm telling you. So it's all there. Healthcare. We are trying our best to implement the healthcare system that is supposed to be registering all the patients in the country. But it's quite difficult. Why? Simply because most people, when they bid for project, they don't know the extent of the actual implementation part. Programming is only one bit. You also think about the implementation, how you are going to implement it, you plan about it. And then you also work with project managers who actually manage the entire project. So those are some of the things. And in terms of application, I'll just show you quickly what I do. So instead of talking, at least we see some real life examples. The impact of software and global communication and connectivity. Like today, Elon Musk is trying to implement what is this? Internet for everybody. And we have few issues here. Because people think that if internet is available to everybody, we are going to miss out on the income part. The communication companies are having sleepless night. So some markets, Papua New Guinea think we shouldn't bring that in. That's the kind of thing, because everybody is for money. I'm pretty sure I'm speaking to smart people who make decisions for the betterment of the country. So I teach a little bit about HR and business to business marketing at Torrance University, whose campus is at IBBN, to second year students as well. So I speak to them about these things, what's happening in the country. So at least you apply what you learn in the real world environment. Programming is a very much needed area in this country. Most of the people who study computer science, needless to mention, they're just using what is called RAID tools, rapid application development. They just drag and drop and create a website. And they said, I'm a programmer. That's rubbish. Because what we need in this country is you write a code from scratch. And that is not even being done by anybody as I'm speaking. So it's quite a difficult environment. It's very open, meaning that unclear. So when you go and speak to a layperson, I'll deliver this project. So give me 500,000 kina and I'll do it for you. Sometimes it may cost less. That's why we need young people who can think smart, outside of the box. Programmers are people who are very smart because you can think like a doctor, you can think like an accountant, you can think like almost everybody else. Like I mentioned about the pilot. Pilot, they just go and, press the autopilot. Autopilot is fly the plane. It was a thought from a programmer. So that is how important programming is in the real world. Why learn programming? Problem solving. It's one of the highly acquired skills of a programmer. So you know how to solve the problem. I'll give a few bit of examples. I remember working with BSP, this program that was written by a white man. It's called CPS, credit point scoring system. So when people get low, they enter the data index. So it was written in Visual Basic.NET. So when I went and joined, it was passed on from one to the other. Simply, people could not solve everything was written. There was only one bit that, they couldn't solve it. Why was that? So it involved logarithm function of the maths. So if you can think differently, then you can solve the problem. So in the past, I'm not sure if you used to go to with your parents to the bank to get loan or not, but they used to give out yellow copies, and when you get a personal loan, they will write in the document and give out that document. So we thought that no, instead of writing the same old thing again on a piece of paper, let the system read. So that was one of my projects that I actually did that. So The only thing was, all of those programmers has done the actual work, but they couldn't solve one problem. Why? Because the figure that was supposed to be inputted into the loan program was supposed to come from like, you'll have to read a road, and then the column where they meet, that's the figure. But how to input that into the database, it was quite difficult. So I was thinking to myself, what's the actual formula to get that figure in that, where the row and column meets? I was speaking to the chief credit officer then, and he gave me a formula sheet. And I realized that you need logarithm function. So what I'm trying to explain here is problem-solving skills is highly required for a programmer, meaning that you have to apply a bit of your computer architecture from physics, a bit of business understanding, a bit of all those different aspects. So if you only concentrate on programming, part of it C++ only, yes, that is good for a start. But over time now you'll have to study our doctor things. What can I provide? Those sort of things. So problem solving skill is a requirement for a programmer. Logical thinking and creativity, like I mentioned to you about a logarithm function. So my mathematics came into play. Similarly for other areas as well. So you try to create those ones so that you provide a little bit of edge over the others. I remember when I used to go to work at BSP, 6.5 years from Geru, going to Wegani. That was where the head of IT was. Wegani, the central bank. And one of my friends from the church, he would tell me, Eric, I used to put on the put the hope on, but you never respond. Why? Because I'm always thinking about my code that I have written. Yesterday, it didn't wake up. That comma must have been placed at that. So I'm concentrating or meditating on my programming. So I never know who is working beside. So programmers, you are going to think a lot. If you are not a person who is patient and logical thinking does not work with you, you'll have to start from now. Like for instance, if you study computer science and go enjoy celebrating independence and all of those nutcase things that happens in this country, I tell you, you are not going to be a good programmer. Programming takes energy, time, you have to invest a lot. So 6.5 years, I taught myself how to do programming. So logical thinking and creativity, it consumes a lot of time. And versatility and adaptability in various fields. You have to adapt to not only thinking as a programmer, but as well as an accountant, as well as what? A doctor. When a doctor speaks, you have to quickly generate a solution in your head. That's how we programmers must think and be smart about the other areas. Of course, they are smart in their own field, but literally, programmers actually are controlling this world as I'm speaking. So most of those things that you do or are run in this world are done by programmers. Okay, practical applications of C++. I think I don't need to tell you about C++. That you are learning in your courses. Real-world applications example, game development is one of the areas where C++ is overly used. Game development. Systems programming, embedded systems like I told you about, like autopilot. And even what you see on the dashboard of the cars, most of those things are embedded systems. Embedded systems, you don't interfere with them. They're just on there, like sensors. All of those ones are embedded systems. You don't go and press a button to make it work. They just automatically respond to the environment that they are placed to respond. So those are different. Sometimes you have to write services that run automatically. For instance, you can write a service to send automated emails, so no human interference. Mostly I use SQL Server. SQL Server is a database provided by Microsoft, but it's quite expensive. The enterprise edition may be $20,000 and like that. So what I use is Express edition. So backup feature is not. So you'll have to think how can you do the backup of the database. So what I use is batch file. You'll have to write that batch. It comes with the operating system itself. But you must know how to write that. There are a lot of thinking that happens. How can you solve that problem? You can't say that, oh, the beta feature is not on the enterprise Express edition, so we'll have to buy the enterprise. but then you are giving a lot of added cost to the client. You must find a solution as a problem. So those are some of the things. Embedded systems. Case studies of successful projects using C++, there are a lot. Example, game development, Unreal, Engine, Unity. If you are interested in developing game, then probably you can learn a little bit about that one. And of course, Adobe and Photoshop, they are written in C++. A lot of them, like MySQL, PostgreSQL, those are database, relational database. There are other unrelational databases that are available. You can store the data in JSON and all of these other files as well. Operating system, Windows, and of course Apple, they are written in C++. Web browsers, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox. I think I don't need to go too much into that one. You can see it in the document that, printed document that Mr. Apple is going to give us. And of course, embedded systems like firmware for medical devices or embedded systems. I have a big interest in the embedded system. But because we are not taught about using all those sensors and things like that at the university here, it's quite difficult to think along that line. But like I said, you have to apply, unlike us in 2009, because you have internet available. So try to find out about these ones. I'm just doing the introduction for you. The work environment of a programmer. Typical work settings, example, startups, large corporations, freelancers. If you want to start a programmer as a programmer, then probably you'll have to find out which company actually does programming. In those days, I did a little bit of research and I realized trading was one of them, telecom and BSP. So I only applied for those three. When everybody was applying for a lot of those other companies, I don't want to just go and be a PC support officer. I had interest in programming, so I applied for those three. And luckily, it happened that I went and worked with BSP. So they had a programming team made up of less than 10 people. So I haven't worked there. So it has helped me. They had some certain source code. That was that. But today, you can learn it on your own. It's quite very easy. So find about those large corporations that do programming or freelance, you can actually start it yourself. Collaboration and teamwork in software development is a requirement. Don't think that you are the only guru. You can solve every problem. It does not work in programming. So if you are starting from university, you are going to tackle a lot of those issues that we face in this country. But if you want to work as an individual, I'm the only person who should get A+ in C++. Then I think in the real world, you will never solve any problem. So you people must work together. So if you can write a better program for the university, for instance, that will stand a chance for you to actually work in big corporations. And of course, people want to recruit people who can work with others. Teamwork is required. And of course, remote work and global opportunities. Sometimes you may actually go online to check where the programmers, which particular WhatsApp group, Facebook page, all of those social media groups, or even sometimes other programmers, they connect somewhere and probably they post. Like Quest, there are a lot. You can check on and then see what they ask. So that's what you can. Most of when I see in Papua New Guinea, in the next few years' time, we'll have a lot of millions. Because people think tweaking and those sort of things, with a university degree, you will solve a lot of problems. It will never happen. So we sometimes blame the government of that. No work and like that. But I see a lot of work for programmers. You can actually do a lot of things. Remote work, you have the internet, you can work remotely. Or somebody in the US, somebody in Finland, Europe, Africa. It depends on how smart you are. Okay, benefits of a career in programming. What are the benefits? I demanded job security. For instance, if they remove me, I talk like what I do, black and white only, no ifs and buts. So if they remove me from work tomorrow, I still have work. Why? Because I knew myself for those 6.5 years as a fully fledged full stack software developer. Full stack is different from just a software developer. Full stack meaning that you do system analysis, project management, as well as you can do front-end development, back-end development, database, all of those ones. So today you spend the next 5 years or 6 years, tomorrow you will learn. But if you don't spend time in those ones, it's going to be a difficult place. I was not a smart student in computer science here. There were 3 or 4 ahead of me. But then I remember I spent a lot of time trying to write codes here and there. So I demanded job security is all that. Competitive salaries and benefits. PNG, they may not pay you that. But outside the world, if you're a programmer, you earn a lot of money. Because basically, you write a software, and of course you can patent the actual program itself. In Papua New Guinea, patenting does not work. Because some of those softwares you can't patent. Needless to mention about other areas but software, you have to write a code that you are writing. If it is original your code, then you can patent the code. It does not work here because many people don't. That's one area that you can go and actually work in IT and tell them that no, we can patent software codes. So how can you work in this? You don't work and register only companies and what they do there, you just go and do that. You as a computer science graduate think what can you implement for IT in the area that you're in. Okay, competitive salaries and benefits. This is an example. It's from global comparison. Median annual salary 77,550. Multiply that by 5, that's the amount you get in PNG for 5 or 4. 77 by or 78 by 5 would be how much? Well, 70 by 5. 350,000 something, around 340. So if you are going to work outside of this country, that's just the average. Software engineers, median annual salary is 99. Software engineers basically you do system analysis, as well as writing the technical requirement documents for the others, and of course writing bit of code as well. So you get that kind of money, median annual salary. And additional insights, entry level software engineers, 80,000. Experienced software engineers, 15 plus years, 120,000. Multiply that by 5, that's the amount in PGK. But this is just from global average calculation. But if you try to bring it back to PNG, you can monopoly in a lot of areas. Okay, that's just a fact information for you. Opportunities for continuous learning and growth. So for programmers, you must every day read something. If you don't read and you think that, oh, I'm a be expert and you don't do any other reading, then I think you are headed for disaster. Because everything changes over time. C++ and those kernel programming, assembly language, all of them are based out. It's done by other people. Today you have to actually meet the client face to face. Like in countries like Papua New Guinea, we don't produce computers or embedded systems. So what is the area that you think you will be needed? Think smart. So there are a lot. Personal and professional growth, developing a growth mindset. Like I said, you'll always tell yourself that I'm going to learn, and learning will never stop. And that means we have to do our PNG culture, going together in groups, telling stories, just spending time doing nothing. I tell you, I used to live in Papua. I'm just giving myself as an example. When they are doing independence celebration, I don't go there. It's all just rubbish celebration that happens every year now and then. What do I have to celebrate? So you people are very smart, think smart, and building a professional network. Today, it's very easy because of the internet that you have in your fingertips. So you try to follow up and then you try to learn what they discuss about and those things. Balancing work and personal life. For a programmer, you shouldn't be looking fat. I'm not forcing you to do that. Because you are thinking a lot. And at the same time, you must exercise a lot. Otherwise, you think you're going to die in that screen. Those are some of the things. Future of programming. it's not going to stop. But the likelihood of the new technologies that are being developed, like today, we have AI on our hand. I was teaching at Torrance University, and this Torrance University are taught to collaborate. You must beat the system. You don't work in a way that you will challenge each other. That does not work. So they don't do exams. It's an Australian university at IBM. They pay 30,000 per year. So it's a school of beginning from big school. So I'm teaching there. Now I'm not teaching, but I used to teach there. I tell them about a few things. Collaborate, work together. AI, machine learning, quantum computing, it's all changing the way things have been done in the past. You have to learn about quantum computing, where physics is involved. If you want to go really deep. And AI, what is AI? In the past, we had, you have to Google on. Now, nobody is sitting there reading all those Google stuff. You just ask that AI, and it writes everything. But what I was trying to talk about Torrance University was, I was telling the students, you don't go and use ChatGPT or AI to write. I'm going to cancel. So two guys, they thought they were smarter than what we said. So they wrote about Microsoft. It was about a case study. So I was telling them to write their business proposal. So all of those ones were written by, but they made it in a way that you don't track them. So I reverse engineered the answer question. So we got, four of them got 0. You'll have to repeat the program, and it's 30,000 a year again. So in place like UPNG, you can get away with it. It does not work in the real environment. So that is where you have to think smart. People are coming up with trying to trick the system. What can you do? And if we reverse engineer the code, actual answers that they provide. So it's something for you to know. At least I'm just giving some bit of what happens in the real world. But at this stage, you may think that it's a lot of work. You may specialize in one area, but as a programmer, you will know many of those areas as well. The evolving role of programmers, it's always changing. You don't settle down for C++ and think that, oh, I'm cool, I know a lot about C++. But you must know a bit of JavaScript, a bit of HTML, a bit of CSS, because that's for primary. At the back end, in the database, you have to write store procedure on SQL Server. That's totally a different thing. So basically, if you think logically, you can come up with a lot of solutions. Preparing for future challenges and opportunities. Today, you are very lucky. In those times, I never knew how to actually operate a computer, and it was very challenging, big challenge. You have all of those ones. So nothing without programmers, basically. Benefits and opportunities are high. You can actually, when people are looking for jobs, you can start to write a little bit of code here and there, and then make yourself marketable. Create yourself a provider on Facebook, not to tweak or whatsoever, not only, but some voices. Or you write a bit of solution for something and then push it. Somebody who's interested may tell you, oh, I want to invest. Can you write this program? That's how you market yourself. Okay, embrace the journey of learning programming while being a student. Today is the chance. So if I would say something, that most of this information you are going to learn it from the internet. But for me, we have to change the culture that we come from. Like going together with friends and spending a lot of time. You're a programmer. Because you have to think like a doctor. You have to think like a policeman. You have to think like a defenseman. So you are highly in demand. So you don't have to work as an accountant, as everybody else, or social worker. You just have to step aside, do what you're supposed to be doing. And then page Facebook page or TikTok or whatever, and you write a snippet and then you have those followers. Then you can make money as well. Any questions? That's my short presentation. I'm not going to talk about ifs and buts and not ifs and buts, but ifs and switch case and all of those ones in the programming that you can. That's for you to learn. But I'm just giving the real world scenario of what happens. Any questions so far? Or otherwise, I can do a bit of demo of what programs I have written so far. At least one. Our time is 10:50 now. We are supposed to be stopping at. Okay. This is a visual chip stereo. Are you using visual stereo or no? That's ID. Okay, I wrote this program for program to sell. I'm selling. So you can do marketing for me. A lot of books. There are classes. If I start this program, then normally you have a fingerprint as well as, I didn't bring the fingerprint device, but it's a clocking out system. So why it is different from what others are providing? Because in this one, at the office we are using this one. So what happens is, pretty simple. You have to put a computer in front and they clock in and out. So for instance, if I want to clock in now, why are you late? It's basic thing. So sometimes that is not available on the scanner. So that's why I have to come up with a solution that is working for Papua New Guinea. You can have the scanner, but it doesn't tell you why you late. And then it also has a cutoff time that you can set. After 8, you don't want officers to use the clock in and out and make them absent all throughout, you can say. So I was writing that program. And maybe I can say car travel or family obligations, and then I say, you have clocked in at that time, simple. And then clock out, you have other features, modify time attendance. If somebody came in earlier but system didn't work, so they said, I want you to input my time. The admin can actually do it. These are pretty much basic setups. Like staff leaves, if somebody wants to take a leave, so when the report is populated, it does not consider that person as she was absent at that time. So what it does is, it indicates that that person was on leave at that time. So basic thing, logical thing, real world thing. And then you write a program accordingly. And of course, approved holidays. When there's a public holiday, September 16th, you input the date, so it does not, the system does not consider it as absent for everybody else. And of course, fingerprint reader. That's a new inclusion I just did for one government department. They want fingerprint. So I got a fingerprint, got a SDK. It comes with a little software development kit. So I embed that system into this one. So that's it. And we also included the on-call and shift attendance, because if you have the fingerprint one, they don't provide on-call. It's all just taking your clock in and out. But what I did is, I realized that no, there's supposed to be shift attendance. So you can log out for a normal day and then you can come in again. But if I want to clock in again, for this one in the normal clock in, you have clocked in already. You can't clock in twice, unless you do it for the shift. So those pretty much basic things. And the system also generate individual pay period, like this fortnight. If you disagree with the payroll people and say that, hey, you want to pay me, TikTok ko viral na, mana to. Kami, kini sila mo, I have to one. So that kind of thing will never happen, because you just have to print the what? Time sheet and give it to him again. Attendance report, basically what happens is everybody have to, the admin generate this report. So we set it password for that. For instance, you can get for the entire division or for each branch. It's all basic. I just want to show you some examples of how to know the attendance for. It prints a basic attendance report. So you can export it, save it, whatever you can do. So that's the front end of it. But this is not good for you have remote offices. So you'll have to do a web-based one. But web-based one, somebody can stay at home as long as they know the link. So you think about all of those solutions that you can provide. So the clients, when they come, they won't tell you that, oh, the system must work like this. You'll have to provide that advice. Unless you work in Australia, the people are smarter because they've been using all those systems for many years. So this is the little system that I've built for using Visual Studio, because I heard that you are learning Visual Studio. So basically a lot of home design, a lot of classes that were written. The back end of the system is on SQL. This is the database. This is different one for a loan management system that I'm working on. It's being used by one of my sisters to give out loans. So it's a web-based one. I rent a server and then I go and install it. So she can actually literally set in branches in throughout the country or even anywhere else. So I think about all those ones and then I develop it accordingly. For the attendance system, this is the database. So basically what you do here, it must end up at the back end. So that's the database. If you know relational database you are learning, access, it's good. Don't think that, oh, I should learn this from this and no. It's good that you start from the basic. Over time you'll build yourself. So that's basically what I'm working on. Some of the coaching. Something that I work for companies, like BSP, I can't show because that's their product. These are my private ones that I'm just showing you. A lot of codes, like for instance, this is to change the background of the front end, like this one. Here, I just want the green or maybe blue. Then change. The next time, if I have to run it again, that must be there. So that change must be saved in the database at the back end. So you have to write a code accordingly. For instance, this is what that. But it is also connected to, like you may have learned about inherit, polymorphism, and what's the other one? Basic programming. Classes, all those ifs and buts, and that's that. So yeah, this is for leap. You write different classes for leap. This is for connection string to connect to the database, the backend. So it's not like you, if you are a person who is impatient, I don't think you will write good programs. So you have to be patient. That's why it starts now to separate yourself from the culture that we come from. If you want to be a programmer, because it's going to be a office where you spend most of your time alone doing many things. It's not that you are going to be bored doing those things by yourself. At times, you can still associate with people, but generally, sometimes you will have to change the culture. Yeah, a lot of code. These are all just classes. This class. This is the data set to pull out the reports. These are forms, the front end that I developed. I'm pretty sure you know that on Visual Studio. And of course, reports are all here. You design the report on Visual reports. There are other reports, tools there. But how can you integrate into the actual program? It's another environment over there. So that's all that. But let me show you a live system. Okay, this is the loan management system that I developed for 2 clients. But basically, I'm not charging them a lot of money. It's not about money. It's about helping to solve a problem. If you're always thinking about money, I tell you, you will not solve a lot of problems. I've met a lot of people who consider themselves as programmers. And there were 2 guys who came and talked to the chief of staff of the Prime Minister, and that guy called me to go and check them because they can introduce their system. They said, we build a national database system. And pretty much basically, you know what happened? They use a rapid application development tool, and drag and drop, and they thought they were the developer. I said, okay, I want to see that backend database that you decided. What platform? Because that it must be secure. We'll have to bring it to PNG at some point in time. Or they couldn't articulate where the database is sitting. I think it's crap. Don't talk about being a programmer. who wants smart people who develop good soap. So, meaning that you have to write a code from scratch. In that way, you can do proper job. A lot of people are saying I'm developing this, but it's not from the scratch. You don't own it. Like you can type rate. As I said, there are a lot of great tools. Rapid application development. So there are a lot of them there. You can just drag and drop. It's just like creating a website. We don't want that kind of programmers to go and lie to the prime minister, big government ads. I've seen a lot of programs written that are not up to par. You must write a program from scratch. When you do that, you own it. Like, for instance, my program here, it's not online somewhere else. I can just buy a server, put it there. If they charge me a lot of money, I bring it out and I go and buy another server. So the business continues there. But if you are doing it on a platform that you don't own, they own you at ransom. What happens is they stop the service unless you pay them, because they see the traffic that it's high and it's normally a core system that your department uses. That's why we learn to think smart. What can we provide for a country like Papua? Okay, this is one of the systems. So let me just log in. It's live. It was developed with C# and database is Microsoft SQL Server, and it's pretty much very simple. Don't make it very complicated for the users. So I don't want to go train it. It must be very simple. So, like for the personal details are stored here. So this lady goes, if somebody comes and gets new loan, she goes and click on new and then enters the loan details. For instance, it's easy as filling out a form. So it's not difficult for a loan officer. It's a simple, just pretend failure. So you create an agreement for that and don't go and train them with a lot of features that they don't use. So the system actually creates an account number or client number, we call it. So these are the client numbers. So it's all unique for every account that you provide for the client. So the other part is, for this particular system, you can generate loan statement. You must provide loan statement. So what happens is when they repay the loan, she maintains the loan account. So you can't do that in Excel. It's going to be a long list. So for this one, this is the kind of loan statement that the system prints. When she came and paid, this is live data that I'm just showing you. She got he got 5,000, fortnight times 20, manager fees applied on that particular loan is 50. And then the recent payment was 13 June 2024. So this can be printed, stamped and sent to the client. All those finance companies, they are playing with fire just because we don't have proper loans. If you are operating a finance company, you must have, by law, you must provide a statement. If I come and ask for a statement, you give me my statement. You can't say, no, a statement, let me check it first. It's like, no. That's why we as a university students, we must tell those people, if you don't have the statement, you don't operate finance company. So this person, I have to create that for him. Not only that one, the other thing was he was using what is this? State aid. State aid is an agreement. What's a mix in Islam? State aid is not an agreement. You have to have loan contract. So I wrote a loan contract for her and put it into the system. As she enters, the system actually prints the loan contract. You can go and click on this one. Here is the loan contract. Loan agreement. This loan agreement, blah, blah, blah. All those information are printed out. You just have to print this one and give it to the client to read. If he agrees, they'll sign. And then you can print and put it aside. So those are the kind of things. Anyhow, those are only a few, so I'll stop there. This is a web-based one. The other one is Windows traditional form, but I can actually put it on a server. What happens with this one? Let me just quickly show you. I rent the server, so she only pays 300 kina per month because we rent the server. This is a server, live server, where the data is going and sitting. So I'm the one who look after. So if the server, people say that you have to pay a lot, I simply bring out the backup. Automatically the backup is, I run a script, so backup is run automatically on this particular server. So it's written in script because we are not using the enterprise system of a backend database. If we use the enterprise, then she's going to pay 20,000 kina. So I use the express, and then we'll have to do the backup because system crashes. So I write the script. It's a batch file. The batch file runs the automatic backup. Let me just quickly show them. These are the database backups. Like for instance, this one was backed up, that's a different system. It was backed up last night, 29, at 10 p.m. when nobody is using. So if the system crashes, we can back this up. So like last time, IMMS crashed. It was a stupid sort of statement that those IMMS system did, saying that our system was held ransom. Did you hear that news or not? And NIO, the government was investing 10 million for the investigation. It was a collaborated effort to steal from the government. There's no such thing as press or whatsoever. Every IT people know that you have to have a proper backup. So I used to think if there's going to be a proper process, those people who were looking after it, you finish them on the spot. Why? Because every IT people know that you should have a backup. Don't call for 10 million kina. But you know, those people are eating money. Don't become like that. For me, I don't care whether you want me or not, but I'll tell you the place. Don't do it because the country is bigger than you individual. We have people who are suffering because people are trying to get the money that they give themselves up. We have a lot of university graduates, but their mind is totally opposite. So you'll have to think about those ones, and when you are doing many things happening in this country, so I'm just connecting with what is happening in Papua. So if you are going to work elsewhere, be a smart person as well. Give your integrity, what have you contributed? It's not about money. This person, they have never paid me as yet. There are two, not only this one, there are a couple of the system as well. This is another, which is owned by an old man here at Redmond. Somebody went and charged them a lot of money, but the database was on access. And access is vulnerable to attack. Computer crash, everything is gone. So you have to provide an online one, and then you write a database backup and things like that. So it's called Marvelous Finance. So I worked on that one as well. Anyhow, I stop on that note. I think it's 10:33, so thank you for your time and for the invitation. It's always a privilege to speak to students. Thank you.